everybody. Welcome back to the Orton Gillingham podcast. I'm Esther here with Katie. We're happy to be back with you. We are going to be talking today about dyslexia because it is Dyslexia Month, October. And before we do that, though, we do have the results of a contest that we offered the last time. Yes. So we asked a while back for people to send in their funny stories, their back to school stories, and we received a very funny one from Shannon. And I'm going to read that.
This is actually hilarious. It kind of reminded me of something that might happen to myself.
It's very funny.
And I loved that she shared it.
I know. I love it too. So here's what Shannon says. She sent... when I was first hired by let me start again. When I was first hired by my current district, I had to travel to different buildings. The first day of school was my birthday. I wanted to look nice and professional. I wore a white dress with flowers. That day it rained a lot. I went to drive to my next building and drove through deep water, which made my car stall. I called the school and they said they would send someone out. The next thing I know, the superintendent shows up wearing a trench coat. When I got out of my car, my dress became wet and see-through. Can you imagine? The superintendent gave me his trench coat, and this is the part I think is so funny, which was about 4 sizes too small. I'm just trying to picture all this. When I finally made it to my next building, I couldn't get the trench coat off without help. It's amazing how many people still remember my birthday as the day I wore the superintendent's trench coat and a see-through dress. Isn't that great?
So trying to cover up because it's a see-through dress, but then having like 4 people around you.
You have to peel it off.
Oh, my God.
I think the whole thing is just so funny, and I wish I could have seen it in person. So congratulations, Shannon. You have won. She won a free self-paced refresher course and a $50 gift card to the Brainspring store. So just for sharing her funny story.
I've done that twice now.
I know. I love it. So thank you, Shannon, for sharing. That was really funny.
Yes, that's a great story.
Yes.
We also have an honorary mention.
Yeah.
And this one is from our listener, Kim.
Okay.
And she writes, "Hi, guys. Here's my funny back-to-school story. I was talking with my new 3rd grade student, and I asked him what his hobbies were. He didn't miss a beat, and he said, well, I make my living as a golfer."
I think that's funny.
She wrote, "Gotta love it. Also, I have a good joke. Funnily enough, from the same kid. What's the best time of day? 6:30, hands down. Get it? Hands down." I actually really like that joke. I think it's funny because the first time we read that, I'm totally ratting you out. The first time we read that, Esther was like, I don't get it. That's not a good joke.
I don't get this
joke.
joke.
It's actually funny. You know, the hands. And she's like, oh.
It took me a minute. I didn't get it. That's terrible. I didn't get a 3rd grader's joke. That's okay.
I have a 3rd grader in my house, so
you're used to those kind of jokes.
Yeah, this one was a lot better because it made sense.
Yeah.
He tries to create his own, and I'm like, what was the punchline again?
I know. I love those. Anyway, congratulations to everybody, and thank you for participating. We always love that.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about today our new topic because October is Dyslexia Awareness Month.
Yes.
So we're going to just give you a brief description of what that is.
Because we are all about dyslexia at Brainspring.
We really are.
This is what we do.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So really, all dyslexia is a language-based learning disability that affects a person's ability to read. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with their IQ or their intelligence. Mm-hmm. You know, everything to do with just a difficulty to read.
That's it.
But there are a lot of other facts out there about dyslexia, but quite a few myths.
Oh, I'm sure.
We got to debunk these.
Let's do it. Okay.
So you have to tell me.
Okay.
You've probably heard this myth. It's probably the most common one I've heard.
What if I get it wrong?
You won't.
Oh my gosh, now I'm nervous. Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm giving you easy ones.
Okay.
Okay, so true or false? Is this a myth? Oh, myth or fact.
Okay.
Dyslexia is a vision problem.
Myth.
See, I knew you get it.
I know. Do you I remember there used to be these color overlay things that people would put over top of, sometimes they even put colors in their people's glasses. And they
Oh,
thought it would help with the vision to help with dyslexia.
yeah. And there is they still use those, but that's for like what dominant color or like, I guess what, I'm not making sense, but the cones in your eyes,
Oh,
like which
okay.
ones that you can see better because
Okay.
sometimes, have you seen those before?
I have seen those color overlays, but always thought that they were
There's nothing to
saying,
do with dyslexia.
I always thought they were saying they could help people with dyslexia.
No, 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 no.
So I remember
yeah.
that was a myth.
Yes,
Yes, for sure.
definitely a myth because vision has nothing to do with it.
That's right.
Hey guys,
Okay.
because guess what?
What?
Where is the starting point of reading? It's sound.
It's right. It's not vision.
So it has nothing to do with their vision.
Okay.
Okay. She's feeling better about this.
I can do it. I can do it.
So I'll give you a fact about this. So people with dyslexia do not see backwards because sometimes they think that happens. They do sometimes have problems with B and D letter reversals, for example, but the cause mainly for that is a deficit in interpreting left and right.
Ah.
So it has nothing to do with their vision.
Okay.
Okay.
Fact or myth? Myth or fact?
Okay. I'm going to give you a really hard one now.
No.
Oh, you might not know this one.
I might not.
Oh, that one's, yeah, I don't like that one. Okay. I'm making choices. I'm changing my mind on the spot. Dyslexia only happens in the English language.
Oh no, that's a myth.
Oh, good. I thought that was kind of a harder one.
Mm-hmm.
It actually exists all over the world, especially any phonetic, language, because, yeah, and we'll talk about that at a different time, orthographic mapping.
Oh, yes.
So, super, super interesting stuff, but not for today.
Yes. We only have so much time.
Yeah, she's telling me to hurry up. So, it exists all over the world.
Yep.
But it often takes longer to pick up on reading issues in kids who are multilingual than their peers, because that might be due to the teachers and parents thinking that they're just struggling with, learning a new
The
language.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Did you know? Well, this is a fact. Did
Okay.
you know 1 in 5 people suffer from dyslexia?
That's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of. I mean, that's a high percentage, but
Yes.
I think it's higher now because diagnosing it is.
We know more.
Yeah, we know so much more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's do one more. Okay. Dyslexia doesn't show up until elementary school.
Oh,
That one's a hard one.
that is hard. I would think that it probably does show up then, because that's when kids are learning to read. So I would
Kind
imagine
of a tricky one.
it is a little bit tricky. I mean,
Well, it's probably because they can be diagnosed easier because of the reading difficulties.
yes.
But what's interesting is a lot of states are doing those screeners.
Yeah.
And I actually had a group of teachers who were asking me about it. And it was a great question because they are doing it even in preschool.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to point at a picture and name what the picture is.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't understand why. And I had to explain to them that the same portion of our brain that we use for reading was intended for speech, but it's also for object naming and retrieval.
Okay, there you
So, that's not developing, at the same pace. Then that's an indicator.
Indication. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even as early as preschool.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that before any kind of school it would be hard to identify
Yeah.
because you're not looking for it
Well, and then
in your
there's
babies,
so
you know?
many other things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what if they've never seen what's that picture? They don't know
Exactly.
what it is,
Right.
So
Yeah.
screeners are great,
Yeah.
but
All
you know.
right. That was a good one.
Do you want me to read you any more facts?
No, but I have a couple
No.
facts. Did you see it?
No, I'm done with your facts.
But I saw this fact and I think it's fascinating. 35% of U.S. entrepreneurs are dyslexic,
Really?
and 60% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic. 60%?
Who in the audience wants to be dyslexic now?
I do. I do. Yeah. I mean, I think those are pretty amazing.
Because they tend to also be very creative people.
Well, that leads us into the next thing that we were going to talk about.
Oh.
There are a lot of celebrities that have dyslexia. And so, I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. Even artists, there's a lot of creative people that have been diagnosed. Steven Spielberg, and these are people that are very successful.
Well, yeah, he created one of my favorite movies of all time.
E.T.?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic Park. Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm an 8-year-old boy.
Okay, Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh, yeah.
Henry Winkler.
Yes.
And Henry Winkler has actually written some really great books.
Yes,
for
he
kids
has.
yeah. So Muhammad Ali. So there you go. Richard Branson.
Yes.
He was. Jay Leno, Danny Glover, Keira Knightley. These are all people who are dyslexic. But, they say Albert Einstein was dyslexic.
You know how I feel about that.
So the question is, how do we know for sure? I mean,
I know.
we know
Would
from
that make the myth list?
I don't know, because we know from his own words. That he
Right.
tells us how he felt about reading and
Right.
so we only know based on what he said. I don't know if there were any tests done for
Yeah, 'cause
him. How do we know?
Right. And
Say-
did he say that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
wrote it, or I read it on the internet, so it must be true.
It's right. Exactly. Exactly. And also I've seen that Leonardo da Vinci was supposedly dyslexic.
Now,
how do we know that
How
for
do we
sure?
know that?
How do we know?
Because
And Pablo Picasso, I've heard. How do we really know?
I don't know. I always say when there's not facts to back it up, unverified.
Yes. But in the end, does it really matter?
No,
No, it doesn't.
no,
So it's just a thing.
it's just a thing.
It's just a thing. And if
We
you,
all have a thing.
that's right. So
Yeah.
anyway, so those are some interesting.
Well, and a lot of that creativity, which is an actual fact, people with dyslexia tend to be more creative and higher level of intelligence too. It has nothing to do with their IQs. They actually have average to above average IQs. But they also they only use the right side. Oh, those with dyslexia, I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up.
Yes.
Those with dyslexia use only the right side of the brain to process language, while non-dyslexics use 3 areas of the left brain to process language. So, and when you're right-brained, I guess you're more it's like the more creative side.
So it all fits.
Would you be more left-brained or right?
Me personally?
Because isn't the left like more mathematical?
Well, that's not me. If it has to do with math, it's not me.
So maybe, you're right brain.
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I'm a perfect balance of both. I'm just kidding.
All right. Very
right.
good.
Lots of interesting facts though.
Yes.
And lots of myths. Be
Yes.
careful where you get your information.
Exactly.
But I like the celebrity ones.
I think that, the thing that's really super important is that a long, long, long time ago, it was something that you might want to hide. There was this, stigma about dyslexia, and it was maybe embarrassing. And it's because we didn't know enough about it. And that just, is the way it came out. But now it's certainly not embarrassing to say that you're dyslexic.
No.
I mean, we know more about it, and it's something that we know how to fix
And to address.
Actually, we can't fix it.
Yeah, there's no
but
cure.
There's no cure, but we know how to help people read very effectively with it. So I think that that it's a wonderful thing that stigma is gone now.
Well, and I think because the testing has gotten so much better,
Exactly.
that it's actually more common when we're talking 1 in 5 people.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
kids don't, especially with kids, they don't have to feel so alone because it's very common. And now programs, well, I mean, like ours, but they're now using it in a whole class setting. So they're being proactive instead of reactive. And so everybody's getting the same thing because they all need the same stuff.
Yes. It's
So-
all good. So it is Dyslexia Awareness Month.
Yes.
And so how do we spread?
You wore.
Oh, look what I did. I wore a red scarf.
Yes,
because
and you even have like nice red lipstick.
I do. I always do that.
I
but
can pull that off.
yeah.
You do
so-
very well.
Thank you. So I wore a red scarf in honor of dyslexia awareness because red is the color. You're supposed to wear red
Yes.
on October 15th. That is World Dyslexia Day.
Yes.
So remember, everybody, wear red.
Yes.
support.
Wear red.
Yep.
And talk about it on social media. Share some facts.
Yes. Yes.
And that also helps to kind of erase that stigma when there's more awareness about it. Whoop. See, if I start using my hands, I'm gonna like slap the computer. And another thing that you could do, donate books on dyslexia to a local school or library. One thing that my son's school does, which I think it's a great thing, is that they have different days devoted to highlighting kids' abilities or maybe disabilities or difficulties or things that they're really strong in, like like they do the spectrum of things, just for awareness, and dyslexia is one of them.
Yes.
So I
awesome.
think that's, and it's so different talking to my kids from when I was little.
Yes.
It's just so much more common, and it's not even a big deal.
No.
They're like, oh yeah, he has to use this, or it's just any other thing.
It's really something so manageable. But if you have a child and who has dyslexia, maybe even before it's diagnosed or even after it's diagnosed, it is no small thing. I mean, it is something that is very hard on parents and kids because it's something that you have to train your brain to read. You have to read in a different way.
Yep.
And so so we don't want to diminish, if you have dyslexia, it's like, no big deal. It is a big deal.
Yeah.
But luckily we have ways to fix it and we have ways to help. So
Right.
that's the encouraging piece that we want to make sure everybody knows.
Right.
So
Right.
all right. So so don't forget, wear red.
I will.
And I did have to search around because I don't have a whole lot of red things, but
I told you I don't own one red thing.
yeah, so I found this luckily. All right. So anything else we want to add to this, Katie?
No, I think we covered it. I mean, we'll talk more about it, and we've talked about it in the past. About different aspects of dyslexia, and but I think the big thing is the awareness piece because of this month, and just making sure to share things, but also to know that there's resources out there.
So many resources. And
Especially even on our website, on Brainspring.
yes. And any Orton Gillingham, program is designed to really help with dyslexics. So Orton Gillingham method is really the gold standard.
It's kind of the key.
It's the key. It's the gold standard
Yeah.
to teach kids to read. So so we're really proud of that we can help kids and adults and anybody
Yes,
learn
adults.
to read. Yes. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yep, just
today.
a quick little one to say hi.
Yeah, just
Shout
to
out.
say hi. Talk about October 15th. Wear your red sweater, and remember to. If you have anything to add or to share with us, you can always leave a voicemail for us. We will have that number linked in the description of this podcast. So any questions that you have or comments or anything, please share. We have our email, podcast@brainspring.com. and that will also be linked in the description as well. So please share.
Visit the website
Visit website.
for more info. Follow us on social media.
Yes.
And next time will be our Halloween episode.
Oh no.
And
Yes.
And we'll be announcing another winner
Oh yes, we will.
for another contest from our last one. So
yes, somebody won. That's a good one too. We'll share with you then.
yeah. But congratulations again to Shannon and Kim.
Yes.
And thanks for calling in. And we'll see you at Halloween.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.